today we are going to discuss about the Runge-Kutta method of numerical integration. So the first day, the previous day, we had discussed the Euler method. In the Euler method, if dA dt is equal to f of a, then we have delta a, it's approximated, is equal to delta t into f of a. From here we can write that a at t plus delta t is equal to a of t plus function of a at t into dt or delta t. So this Euler method can also be said to be the Arke-1 method. Now if I want to do something better, so here what we are doing is at time t and time t plus delta t. In between these two there is a difference of delta t, and we take the slope at f of at is the slope at time t, right? So we are taking only one slope. So the better, in order to make this method better, we can do what? We can make this delta t small. We have already learned that. But is there a better way to take multiple slopes over these delta t time distance or this time frame? So for that, what we do is we take r1 is equal to f of at dt. Okay, that's the first slope at t. R2 is another one where we take the slope at f of a t plus. Now if I do at plus r1, we reach the end of the time. We are at t plus delta t. But instead of taking t plus delta t, we will go at plus r1 by 2. So we are going halfway, somewhere in the middle here, into dt. Now r3 is again another slope at plus r2 by 2 into dt. So this is basically again another slope at the mid position, and finally r4 is equal to f of at plus r3 into dt. So here we have gone to the end. So here is this r4, the slope into dt. This is r3 in the middle, r2 plus 2, we have gone halfway. This is r1 plus 1, somewhere halfway here, and this is the slope in the initial position is r1. The slope is f, and then we multiply dt. So these are the four terms that we have. So four slopes into the time unit dt, or the time steps dt or delta t or h, whatever you call it. So we take now the entire, instead of f of at, we take the time average. So a of t plus dt is equal to now a of t plus r1 plus twice r2 plus twice r3 plus r4 over 6. So this is a time weighted average where we are taking double the weight in the middle. So twice r2 twice r3. So these are 6 terms divided by 6. Okay, so that way we are not only taking the slope at a point in the beginning, but we are taking the slopes at four different slopes we are taking. So they are slopes at different points. 2 points in the middle, 1 point in the beginning of the time step, and 1 point in the end of the time step. So that way we are actually making our simulation much better. Alright. Now let us see how we are going to take this Runge-Kutta method and do a integration. So let's say the first order kinetics. A gives P. What do we have? F of A is equal to K1A. For a second order kinetics, F of A is equal to K2A square. Third order, if it's third order, Fa is equal to K3A cube, and so on and so forth. Now let's have A plus B gives P. In that particular case, the f of A will be equal to K into A into concentration B, and f of B will be again the same, K into A into B. Okay, so let us now see what is going to happen here when we try to integrate. So A gives P. So in this particular case, A gives B gives C. So in the first case, it's the same rate, f is unique, but in this case there are different slopes for each one. So f of A and f of B and f of C are different. So in this case, dA dt is equal to minus K1A, dB dt is equal to K1A minus K2B and dc dt is k2b. So k1, k2, k3 are all different. So now we had this r1, r2, r3, r4 for a particular concentration A, right? So instead of having just r1, r2, r3, r4 for A, we will have these sets of slopes for both A as well as B. Let us look at the nature of the graph as we already understand. So A is decreasing, B is increasing and decreasing, and C is slowly increasing. So these are the slopes which we know by exact integration of our differential equations. From our kinetics we know that, right? So at a point, let's say this is t0 and this is t1, this is t2, and so on and so forth, and let the distance between t1 and t2 be delta t. So there are three values of a, b and c at t1, again three values of a, b and c at t2. So when we go between t1 and t2, if we are taking the simple Euler method, then at is equal to, or at plus delta t is equal to at plus f of a, that is minus k1a into dt. So that is the simple way we write when we are going to do the Euler equation, right? And we know how to do dv dt. So we will write b is equal to, what is b equal to? B is equal to b plus k1a minus k2b into the whole into dt. So this is f of b into dt, and c is equal to similarly ct plus k2b into dt, right? So that is quite simple. But when we are considering the Runge-Kutta method, if we had only one variable, we would find r1, r2, r3, r4 for A. But now when we are going from the first point t to t plus delta t, between these 2 points we are taking the midpoints, right? So in these midpoints, let us see, let's look at, so this is, suppose this is the A, this is the B, and then we also have the C below, right? So now all of these has different types of things. Now for A, we are going between the first, second, third, fourth terms, 4 points. RA1 is equal to K1A dt. Similarly, we need to have a RB1 soon after that. We are not going to do RA1, RA2, RA3, etc. We are going to find the slope at the first point for A and B. So B is equal to K1A minus K2B into dt. What is, so you see the difference. RA1 is FA, RB1 is equal to function of B, and RC1 is equal to the function of f of C. So now RA2 is equal to minus K1, see here, AT plus RA1 by 2 dt. What is RB2? This is where many of you have made a mistake. RB2 is equal to f of B. Now this function of B is not just a function of B, it is a function of A and B, right? The kinetic part of B, let's call it the G of AB. So that is K1 AT plus RA1 by 2. So AT increases as A1 and BT increases as RA2, RA1, RB1. A increases as RA and B increases as RB. So at this midpoint, we have A increases as AT plus RA1 by 2 and B increases as BT plus RB1 by 2, and then whole dt. So remember this, A increases as RA and B increases as RB. Now what is RC1? RC2? RC2 is K2 BT plus, it increases as B, right? Now we have RA3, so that's minus K1 AT plus RA2 by 2 dt. RB3 is equal to K1 AT plus RA2 by 2 minus k2 bt plus rb2 by 2 the whole thing into dt, and rc3 is equal to k2 into bt plus rb2 by 2 dt. Okay, now we have the fourth. Similarly, ra4 is equal to minus k1 into at plus, now it's the whole thing, r3 dt, it's the last point, so not by 2 anymore, at plus r3 dt. Remember the at is remaining as at, okay, minus k2 into bt plus rb3 by, no, it's not by 2, it's the last one, rc4 is equal to k2 into bt plus rb3 into dt. So we have all the r terms for a, b, c and d. So now a is equal to a plus, we will take the weighted average. So a of t plus dt is equal to at plus ra1 plus twice ra2 plus twice ra3 plus ra4 whole over 6, the weighted average. Similarly, the b increases as, what are the terms of b? rb1 plus twice of rb2 plus twice of rb3 plus rb4 whole over 6, and c increases as rc1 plus twice rc2 plus twice rc3 plus rc4 whole over 6. So you see this a, b, c simultaneously at every time step increases in this way. Alright, so this is how the Runge-Kutta method is done. Now we come to the ozone problem. So some of you have had problems with this because there were high numbers, 10 to the power 30 to 10 to the power 40 was the value of basically number of molecules, right? The concentrations were huge. So it happened that we got even larger numbers, right? So what we have to do first to handle that, instead of taking real, we can decide to take a double precision. We have already discussed how to take double precision. You can look up in any book or any internet things and you will be able to see how double precision is written. Now this dt or h, how do we take it? Now we have, I asked you to calculate up to 250 days, right? So suppose, so now a is equal to a plus fa dt. Let's consider simple Euler. You can also do it by Runge-Kutta. Now this dt, if it is large, what is going to happen? Suppose fa is negative, right? And if the value of fa compared to a is not very small, what is going to happen is, instead of decreasing like this smoothly, it is going to decrease in steps. It is going to become even negative. Instead of this smooth exponential decay, it is going to suddenly dip and become negative if dt is large. So it is important that the time steps are very small so that the error does not magnify and we don't go to the negative of the concentration. Many of you have found that. So for that, it is required that this h or time step or dt is kept small. Now the third point, this 250 days. So suppose you take the time step as small. So 250 days means 250 into 24 hours into 3600 seconds. Okay, so these many seconds, so it's large, I understand. And if you are taking h even smaller, then whatever is the value of h, you have to divide by that. So if h is 0.01, you have to multiply by 100, say, right? Yeah, so these are the number of iterations that you have to do to reach 250. So in your .dat file, if you are going to save all this data, what happens is when we try to load it into GNU plot, your system crashes or it hangs up, right? So what many of you have done, when you have said do I equals to 1 to these many, then you do what? You have written h as 3600, many of you. So that is a problem. When you write 3600, that means the time step I comma j comma time step, then what happens is you take 1 and then you go to 3601, the next one is 7 to 0 1 and so on, but you need to go from 1 2 3 4 etc. If you take this as 3600, the third counter, that means your age becomes 3600. So instead, what do? You print onto the screen I, T, ozone value, oxygen value, so on and so forth. But when you print to the file or write onto a file, you do not print all the values, right? If you print all these values, then what is going to happen? You are going to have a huge data file. But it is possible to calculate for all the values of I going from 1 2 3 4 etc. But when you are going to write, we'll write some selective values. For example, let's say some loop where j goes from 1 to 100. Okay, so in this particular case, yes, some simple first order kinetics. A is equal to a minus k1a dt, and generally we write in any file, let's say which is numbered, labeled as 9, we write k, t and a. So we have 100 points of time and 100 points of concentration, and then we plot this. But in order to get a beautiful plot like this, it's not necessary that I plot all of these. If I take about 10 points, still I will be able to get a beautiful plot. So then my data file will become smaller. So then what do I have to do? I need to save at time 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100. So how do I do this? What would be the logic? That means whenever my j is 10, 20, 30, at those points I am going to write my at. So I need to give a conditional statement that my j is divisible by 10, right? All of these are multiples of 10. So we have to write mod t comma 10 or j comma 10. Remember the t is a real value and 10 is an integer, so you have to take integers. Similarly, in this particular case, for ozone, you have far greater number of data points that you are generating. You can generate, the computer will not have any problem. But when you are writing onto a file, it will write also, but then when you are writing, you are going to choose. So selective data will be written onto the file or saved onto the file from which you are going to plot, right? So the output data file will be smaller. So what do? We have to take a selective case like this. So to make a smaller data file which can be loaded to GNUplot easily, can be sent to me by mail. Suppose you have something like this in the exam where you have to do for a long time, you can save it easily. So what do? You selectively write a conditional statement such that some of the data files, maybe after every 100 or after every 1000, whatever you can handle, that will be saved. Okay, so those statement has to be written. So that is the basic point here. That's how you handle this kind of simulations where you have large data sets, large data values, so on and so forth. Okay, all right. So I think with this idea you will be able to carry on your stuff and you should be able to